Well, welcome, guys. Chapter 6. What I love about how this is all flowing. I mean, yesterday we started talking about this topic naturally because it was coming up as we were being the optimist of other people around us. So here we are with the chapter when they don't want you to grow. The other people around you getting in the way. And so let's hear from you guys on this. What in this chapter really hit home? And what are you going to start doing differently because of it? What do you guys have?
Well, it was obviously talking about this group. I can't believe this author was talking about us and hasn't even been in the room yet.
And on the very first page of the chapter, it was right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's read that into the room, Doug.
Well, let's see. I don't know which line you were talking about.
Bottom of page 79.
79.
I think is what you were talking
For
about.
some.
Mine is 89. So
yeah.
Before I discuss how to deal with family members who are having a hard time with your growing, take a good hard look at the people in your life generally. And taking a look at you people, I am really encouraged. And in the middle of the next page in capital letters, it says it's amazingly empowering to have the support of a strong, motivated, and inspirational group of people. That's who you are. So thank you.
Amen. And I absolutely have, look at that. Circled right there.
That's what I did. Circled
Amen.
right there.
I'm right there on board. That's what we're doing here, guys, is we're creating that environment. And I talked to a couple folks in here, maybe somebody who didn't have their camera on or two, about not just in this space. All these people are here to help you outside the space. So from 9 to 9:30 Central isn't the only window of time. You got
That's
other
true.
stuff coming in. You can reach out to Coach Robert. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to Chad. Anybody else in this room, you guys have access to help in between the daily sessions. There's your group, your power group, and it's awesome to be a part of it. What else are you guys pulling out of the content?
Hey, what I'm thinking about here is talking about this group is something I heard years ago. I think it was in one of Don Hobbs's rooms when he's talking about attending meetings and things. He says sometimes you need the meeting, and sometimes the meeting needs you. Because we're, the ebb and flow of where we are in our daily interactions with family and business. You just lost a deal. You better come because that's going to propel you to get the next one. So that's what I'm reading throughout this chapter. I'm hearing those words in the back of my mind.
Celeste, I saw the hand go up. Great job, Camacho.
In the book, and I know my page is off from yours, but it's the page starts with, there is another possibility. Your newfound energy may awaken your friends to new possibilities, and they may join you on your journey toward power, action, and love.
Isn't that what we all have done?
Yeah.
No. What
No.
we continue to do.
I
Right?
like that.
Yeah. And so I want to go into this because it's not happening here, yet it might be happening outside the world. And this was a paragraph and a half that I thought was very mission critical for just showing our mind and opening our mind to what else might be happening when we're not in this space. Most of us are not aware that we belong to the moan and groan crowd until we stop moaning and groaning. When we become aware, things automatically start to take care of themselves. How? It's quite simple. As you begin to grow, you will notice you no longer want to be around depressed people. Negativity is contagious, and you walk away feeling miserable after spending time in the company of a negative person. Positiveness is contagious as well. And spending time with a positive person makes you feel as though you can sprout wings and fly. Soon you'll become discerning. Energy is tangible, and as you become more aware, you will feel if a person is positive or negative, and you'll be automatically drawn to the more positive. The people in your life are a good indicator of where you are operating on an emotional level. Like attracts like. And as you begin to change, you will automatically draw and be drawn to a different kind of person. That means different kinds of clients, guys. All of a sudden, you're playing with more thoughtful, more caring clients who actually desire for you to succeed and see win-win. It includes other agents. And of course, you're going to find new friends. And I love the part in here about working on that project. So what else you guys have?
I'd like to add on that note of some meetings that Robert said require us, and some, we're required, right? So that also goes to like talking and listening. So a meeting can literally just be with one person. So when I look at it as like, hey, this is more for me than it is for, then even if I initially thought I created this meeting, I brought us all together, here we are, I'm going to go ahead and run this whole thing, and I'm going to navigate the whole conversation. Then I get there, I'm like, well, there's a lot more to unpack here, that maybe I should change my position of hierarchy in this conversation. And to be aware of that is a constant kind of practice. Like, okay, I see there might be an opportunity here for me to listen more than to talk.
Yeah, what's fascinating about that, Grandpa Chad, is who has the highest accountability in this particular group? Who set it so that he would have the highest accountability of reading the books? Who sets these call time meetings so that he is held at the highest accountability from 2 to 5 during call time? It's none of us, right?
Right.
It's Coach Russ, because he knows the way that he can be held at the highest accountability is bring people in and let's do this together, because now he knows he's got to show up.
Right.
And,
yeah, full service.
I think that's what you're touching on, right?
Yeah. Well, it's full service. Yeah, Robert. But also goes. We can now be a reflection of what Russ is bleeding into us, right? Out into the world, right? So we basically take this and then we go and serve on the next level, right? And this creates the hierarchy of service, right? So it's our job to alchemize these thoughts in this meeting, but then go out and practice them and move that outward.
Speak a little bit to the higher. I'm sorry.
No, I just said good word.
Yeah, well,
I was just. What is that?
Can you, Robert Camacho? You discovered my devious plan, right?
So speak about the hierarchy of service a little bit. Talk about that.
Yeah, there's always in a win-win. There's always a self-serving component, and it's okay. That's the wonderful thing about playing in that mentality. The more you give, the more you help, the more comes back. And so building this, guys. 2 years ago, there was like 1 or 2 people showing up. This has been a long run mindset morning of doing this every day, because I needed it, man. I was getting beat down. It was like, I tell you guys, like Sisyphus rolling the stone up the hill, and then you lose it and it rolls back down, and damn. And being in here with you guys, I have always, in any room I've been in, gotten more from being in the front and teaching than I got more up there than I put out there always, because you guys always open my mind, and I appreciate you for it. What else you guys pulling from the content? I saw Celeste may have had something. Client may have had something. Okay, I'll wave at you, client. That's cool. What else you guys have?
Your comment, what you just said there. There is a paragraph that starts with, "It is incredibly important to your peace of mind and sense of power to have some kind of support group." I don't know if you saw that, but you extend that to even an accountability group or person, whether you're working out or you're making your phone calls or you're learning a new topic in a book. All of us are needing support from others because we don't always see or know what we should be doing next. That's it.
Absolutely. find your tribe. You found one here. By the way, you're allowed to have more than one tribe. Isn't that cool? So this is just one. What else you guys have in your life? As Celeste was saying, working out. You know, even if it's just walking every day, find your tribe to walk and talk about this stuff. Maybe it is spirituality. Find your tribe to dive in the Bible and have that book club around the one book called the Bible. I know there's a lot of good
Or
content.
in Doug's case, the stars, right?
Right, exactly.
Yep,
You know,
absolutely.
talking about finding your tribe, there's an ongoing debate right now as to whether collaboration community or rugged individualism is the best way to go. In ancient cultures, rugged individualism got you eaten by a lion. In order for you to survive, eat, procreate, move forward, and move to the next level, you had to move within community. And we've gotten to the point where, and I know a certain level of individualism created this country, but we've gotten to the point where we're going to see this rock, and I got to get past this rock. And if I'm going to use my forehead and break this rock to get through it, I'm going to do that. And we have forgotten that we have the usage of the species of humans that we have collectively had for thousands of years that has worked for us. Civilizations were not built by one person. They've always collectively moved together. And that is something that we have to, I think, kind of get back to. You know, we're in an environment where everyone's on the internet. The pandemic did a number on many of us, where you're in your silo, you're by yourself, and you're just trying to plug on through. You roll over and you're like, man, I can't take this. What do I do? What do I do? And you have this whole slew of resources that you have available. So what do you guys, I don't want to break off too much past that, but that's something I'd like to talk about a little bit, maybe even if it's another
Yeah, well, I
session.
definitely want to loop in a fun piece on this, because I'm looking at a room that is doing things collectively, because we are, and simultaneously having individual freedom to choose what we do with the material and what we do with our day, and individual responsibility, because that's a big part of the reading we've been doing as well. The end result of all this, the way you get your power, is owning your crap. 100% of it, no matter what. So it's individual responsibility, it is individual freedom. We get the choices, combined with doing it together, so we're helping each other. That's why, again, rooms like this for accountability and showing up. And when somebody doesn't show up and you notice, you choose to pick up the phone and reach out to them and bring them back to the family. Maybe those that are showing up at the 8 a.m. Central for the recruiting accountability. That room's starting to grow a little bit as well, and it's been a lot of fun. And we're doing our individual work, and we're reporting out what we're going to do that day. And so it's individualism, rugged individualism. I'm going to make 20 conversations today happen, combined with collective accountability the next day. Did you have your 20 conversations? So the two are not operating outside each other. And yes, you're right. And culturally, there's conversations of it truly being isolated. What we know is they operate in conjunction with each other, collaboration, if you will, when being most effective. What else you guys pulling out of the content? Yo, Evelyn.
Can't hear you.
Well, that's because she's muted.
I like the part where she said you just have to start, and no matter what, you have to continue to start. The point is that you must make the effort. So many people sit at home waiting for the phone to ring and wondering why they're always alone. And Russ, that's what you say.
Get into action, baby. Solves a lots of challenges. Now, what was this topic, though, Evelyn? Because I want us to do a little deeper dive on what this is a sub piece of overall that she's talking about here.
Well, she's talking about how do you begin, and she's telling you that anyone you meet, you need to do enough sleuthing to be able to at least get their phone number and start making those calls. They get easier, and the more you get out, the more you meet, and so on. But
yeah, this is specifically about how you begin finding new relationships, finding new friends, finding a new circle of people to hang out with that is pulling you up.
Yeah, she actually says, you're always afraid they won't remember you. They don't have any idea who you are, but that's okay. Just call them and make a lunch date, and you'd be surprised. So,
yeah, one of my favorite stories around this, Sheila Fairgeron, she's in our company at a high level. She came over to this company, to EXP, about 6-7 years ago, and immediately started building her list. And one person she had met one time for 30 seconds was a guy named Brent Gove. And she had the wherewithal to pick up the phone, call him. Hey, Brent, it's Sheila. I don't know if you remember me, which automatically in his head, when you talk to Brent, was, crap, I don't remember her. And all of a sudden he's feeling guilty. And she had a conversation around this thing called EXP. His mind was open, and Sheila's life is radically different because she was willing to make that one call. Who else might be on your list that you want a relationship with, that you want to play at a higher level, and you see them and you think, I'm not ready to talk to them, or I'm not worthy of talking to them? What you will discover is the people who play at the highest levels are more than happy to help, more than happy to plug in, more than happy to create a relationship, because guess what almost everybody around them has been saying in their own heads? I'm not big enough to talk to them. I'm not worthy to talk to them. A lot of folks playing in a big world are living a somewhat lonely life because people aren't reaching out. You guys could maybe be that gift. How cool
that is so true. I remember I was in college, and there was a beautiful young lady that I was talking to, and I said, oh, you must have a lot of dates or whatever. She said, I don't even go out on dates. And I was like, what? Whoa, what's going on? She's like, people just look at me and they assume that because of the way that I look, that I'm unavailable or unattainable. Of course, I took the opportunity to go out and everything, but that happens in life as well. People who have money, their parents die, their kids get on drugs, they have job situations, they have health scares. Their life is the same as yours. They have similar situations. And because they're at that level, guess what? They're lonelier. It used to be said Obama literally had to break out of the White House because it was just like, I feel like I'm in a crypt. And he would just sneak out. Even Michelle, they said she would put on disguises and just sneak out to be normal, to speak to regular people.
You're right about that, client, and I love this topic because I've kind of played around with it over the last 6 months. It's lonely at the top, and the statistic, and this goes out to, like, once you start moving up in whatever space of good energy that we're all basically culminating and talking about here, is the farther you get up the ladder, the less people believe they can either go there or aren't willing to have the accountability to be there. So that's the two characters that you play. And so everyone's heard the term, it's lonely at the top, right? So, but let's take just having a 6-pack abs, for example. If you have 6-pack abs, you already live a life completely different from anyone not in that 14 percentile of America. Okay. They eat different. They work out different. They think different. Like, everything that they do is different than almost everyone they talk to on a daily basis. How lonely is that? Oh, I eat a different meal. Oh, I have different conversations. Oh, I have a different practice, right? And so as we elevate ourselves into our own vision of the higher self or whoever we're aspiring to be, just remember that version of you is going to be different than many people. And you're going to try to talk to them and they're going to be like, like your family. This goes back to yesterday's chapter. Your family's going to go, what level are you on? Well, yeah, I know it's lonely here. And as we go up and ascend in our own personal growth, those people just are moving down. That's not your fault at all by any means. And you can't drag all that up, but it's okay. Like, you just ascended and it gets a little more lonely in this because you become the 1 percentile, right? In the world, if you want to be a 1% earner, guess what? Everything you do is different than the whole entire planet, basically. That's a lonely space to be. So consider that as part of how you communicate with people in honor. And we talked about with family, and I think that's the touchy subject there that we played with yesterday, is how do I handle my family? You just honor them for right where they are, because you now are in a space that's like, if they want that accountability that you've accepted to yourself, they're going to have to take on that accountability and take action, show up at meetings, take action on all the things that they do. And I think it's these 2 chapters play into what Client said there for sure with the president.
Well, here's a
Like
fun
it.
piece on this. First of all, Chad, my wife is sitting here always listening to us, and she's like high-fiving you right now because she actually historically was a high-level competitor in that figure bodybuilding world, and it was a very lonely existence, a lot of solo time to be able to play at that level.
Mm-hmm.
And you shifted to family, which is key, because again, I want to make sure you guys are pulling out of the content how you respond to family, because you're going to be doing things differently as you continue to grow, things that they're not used to. You're going to be behaving differently, thinking differently, talking differently, and that's going to shake their foundation of what they're used to. And so they very well may come at you with some inflammatory language. And there's examples here starting on page 91 in the new book. So probably 101 in Doug and Celeste's.
Yeah.
And many times our natural response is going to be responding similarly, which winds up being lose-lose in an argument and a fight. So there's examples here of win-win, of accepting them where they're at. If they are bringing judgment to you that, you're different, you're being selfish, you're doing all this other stuff away from the family, acknowledge and accepting that, and then having language to maybe invite them to play with you. Understand where they're at and what they're feeling, and maybe having language to explore that. Always coming from a state of love, a state of care, maybe even using that FM late night DJ voice just a little.
You can
What
always throw a book at people, Russ, in a practical sense. Say, listen, I've been reading this book. It's really making me feel good about where I'm going. And, there's, if hopefully it's not affecting your life too much. I mean, maybe how am I affecting you specifically, other than I'm changing? And I get it. That must be tough watching someone we've grown up together, like transform. What's that experience like for you? Like watching me do that?
I want to push back a little bit on what you said earlier about the 6-pack and being in shape, if I may, if you allow me
please.
to. I feel
of course.
I feel I'm in pretty good shape. I do have a 6-pack, and I don't feel like I do anything out of the ordinary than other people do. I still eat Portillo's maybe 2-3 times a week. But what I do is the boring thing of getting into the gym at least 5 to 6, maybe sometimes every day, even if it's a short period of time. So really that is the biggest difference, I feel, is that boring, do it over and over, and when you don't want to do it. And I think we spoke about this in the past, where that's the difference between like a really good player and a professional player where they'll do the same drill over and over and over and over again. Even like top level players, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, they get into the gym at 6 a.m. and they just continue to grind over and over again. So I just wanted to give that to you because maybe that's a part of our programming where we feel like that is so unattainable, like this body or anything like that. And I'll tell you, in a few years, even I have a natural athletic body. I started seeing a belly, and as could tell you, my wife can tell you, all of a sudden I was like, what is that going on? I've never experienced that. Then I got into high mode, and now I'm back into where I feel I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm in my 40s. But the second thing I want to bring back into the book is the win-wins that she talks about. And I want to tie it into her past book as well, where she uses that empathy, if you guys notice, because every time she's like, on page 91, I can see why you think I'm being selfish. I'm not available. But she's like, she uses empathy. And then another one, she's like, I know it might seem that way. It's like, I know I haven't been able to spend that much time. So she's like recognizing what they see in like their mom or the dad or their friend, but using a win-win situation to handle these situations, these Debbie Downers, basically. So just wanted to throw that in too.
So one thing for you, Caesar, I just want to have a little fun with you because I think what you're saying is correct. And I think Chad is correct about this 1% rule. So I'm going to have a little fun with you and at the expense of everybody else. By show of hands, how many of you have been to the gym 6 or 7 times this week? And you're not seeing any hands, are you, Caesar?
Ooh, does working out at home count?
You have to work out there.
Does Caesar have to raise his hand? He has to show us the 6-pack.
Yeah.
Does climbing a ladder over a weekend?
Yeah, Josh will be the only one I know in this. Josh turned his camera on just to go, yes, I am, which I love that, Josh. And yet you're in a minority there because it's the commitment. And by the way, the 6-pack exists to wrap this up because it is time on task over time, like we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a 6-pack when it comes to recruiting.
Amen.
Yes, he
Time on
does.
task over time. That's all. Many of you have a 6-pack when it comes to production. I know Kim is one of those because every single day she's having conversations looking for real estate. So the fun part for you guys today as we wrap up is, what do you really want to put time on task over time on? What's going to change your life? And it is a choice. It's not, I got to do this. It's a choice. So I want to give you guys a choice today on Thursday. You wish to get financially free 1 to 2 o'clock Eastern time. I'm just looking at my calendar. I run my Financial Freedom Mastermind, where we can talk about the things to get you financially free to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, wherever you want. And then 2 to 5 today, I will be there for most of it. I have a 30-minute online meeting at 2:30 Central. So that 2 to 5 Central. So 12 to 1 Central, 2 to 5 Central, right here in the Renegade Room. And I love what you guys are doing to me. One of you who shall remain nameless scheduled an 8 p.m. Share the models. And I love that you guys are doing that. So keep it up. Keep growing. Tomorrow, chapter 7, right, Doug?
That's right.
Which
Yeah,
day is financial freedom, please?
What was that, Dorothy?
Which day is financial freedom?
Thursdays. Today's Thursday.
Today's. Thank
Yep,
you.
12 to 1.
When is the ninja group meeting? Is that at noon today, or is that happening anymore?
I don't know if it's happening. Is Maria in the room?
He was at the beginning.
Well, she isn't here now. So I don't know if that is occurring or not. Maria is the one leading that.
Okay.
And Ryan Dan Ornum, let's talk about the 7 circles and balance and having a little fun there. Okay. And by the way, in the EXP/success world, we bumped it up to 10. So actually our success wheel has 10 components. So we'll chat about that either today or tomorrow. Work around your schedule. Okay.